Hello everyone, my name is Pixie People, and today we're going to talk about what if Deku was a kaiju. And I really like kaijus as a kid. I still watch them to this day. Not the biggest fan of the USA version, but you know, it's fine. But, alright, let's get into it. So we start our story with Deku being born of Hasashi Midoriya and Inko Midoriya. This time, Hasashi Midoriya actually stays there, like a good father should. She's gonna hold that there. We're just gonna hold that there. Alright, let's continue. So then, after 5 years and a couple months, it was Deku's birthday. He was turning 6 and he was so excited. Little did he know he was gonna have to deal with high school in a bit. But we won't mind on that. But after Deku is relaxing with his best buddy Bakugo Katsuki, they get picked up from school and they get to go to the hospital. Well, not the hospital, you know what I mean. They go to a bowling ring, okay? Actually, no. Yeah, bowling ring, a bowling ring. In the city, of course, because they have to do the best for their son, Izuku Midoriya. Best guy there. Best guy in that whole universe, I'm not gonna cap. Alright. As they're celebrating, then they hear a absolutely massive alarm blare. Like it almost burns Deku's ears, like in a mental state. So then he's running around screaming, because, loud noise, small child, it's gonna scream. Bakugo is also screaming, but like louder. After Mitsuki and Inko get them under control and tells them they have to go, but then they look outside the window and then a figure is standing between the buildings. It's absolutely massive with horns and tusks. Flashback to about 15 minutes later. Earlier, I mean. So the Kaiju Force, I think that's what they're called. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna call them, the Kaiju Force. It is a force that kills Kaiju. With with their uh, top top guy being All Might. Yeah, All Might is a instead of a pro hero, he's a Kaiju Slayer. That's what they call him. Yeah, Kaiju Slayers. They are Kaiju Slayers, and they're pretty good at it. All Might is more battle ready, and actually has knuckles that actually break through his skin. Don't worry, quirks still exist, but like they're more. I guess the world just evolved to being able to kill villains, because quirks started to get more deadly than squishy. And after Deku is focusing on his work, I guess. Deku's focusing on trying to calm down during this moment, but like back to what I was saying. And so All Might is already there in his upgraded suit that made him punch harder. Holy shit, is McCree actually gonna do something? But back to what I was saying. Deku, not All Might, runs in there and punches the kaiju so hard it just walks back, and then All Might just completely and utterly pressures this guy. Just imagine a Attack on Titan, but like with creepier titans, but with like more animal-like titans, and they have infinite steam because they're converting air to steam to move their bodies. And then All Might is able to just punch around the kaiju. It's a very long battle. for All Might until the creature is able to smack All Might once, which that's all the creature needed. So he boosted that entire arm to its fullest ability, and then like it like almost imploded his arm, but he flew All Might all the way away. So he kept All Might from getting to him while he destroyed the city. After the alarm blared, because there was no people to save him, people from, you know, oh my god, he actually didn't. But since there's no people to save them, so they blare the alarm. So All Might the kaiju, I'm not gonna, maybe I'll call it the Titan. They just call it the Titan because it's like a Titan. It's one of the biggest ones they've ever seen. Then Deku, uh, after calming down and relaxing, uh, then looks what his mom's looking at. Sees the kaiju just standing there, and starts crying again. But Inko tries to move him out of the building, but the kaiju's tail is swinging in rage because he sees all these snacks he can eat. And he starts barreling towards them, mouth slobbering. This kaiju wants to eat and hasn't eaten in decades, by the looks of it. So another kaiju force squad shows up to stop him, but then one dies. Like, I'm not kidding. One just dies. The kaiju just ran so fast that it just killed him, tore his entire leg off. Basically killed him. So he just tore his entire torso off. So now his legs were only existing. And then one tried to stop him by landing on a building and shooting at it. The kaiju just slammed his hand into the building, which killed him. So there's only two of them left, but that won't last long since the kaiju cut them in half with his tail. The squad's already down, and All Might's just trying to get back to the scene. But there is a problem because Deku doesn't. All Might is really slow because his for plot. He's only slow because of plot. They never explain why he's slow. He's just slow. So Deku is scared out of his mind while Inko tries to hide her son under one of the bowling rings tables. So is Mitsuki and the brown-haired guy. While Mitsuki is squatting on the ground and Inko and Asashi, let's just say Inko's slightly taller than Mitsuki in this universe. Okay, which is going to be sadly a really big plot point soon. So the kaiju gets there. Instead of eating them like quickly, he spins around and cuts the building in half. But guess who was a little too tall to be in that building, that squatting position? Uh-oh, there goes Mitsuki's entire top of her head. So there goes Inko, dead. And sadly, the two husbands got cut in half. But it was like right before Hasashi was trying to squat because he just saw his. Let's just say he was slightly farther away than he should have been, and then just when he tried to squat down, he just got cut in half. Then when the husband of Mitsuki just got cut in half. So the two husbands are dead, and so is Inko. So Mitsuki is alone now with the two boys. Then she hides under the table. But sadly, the creature sees a guy twitching after death. But the kaiju takes movement as a sign of being alive. But the only reason it's twitching is because its brain is like trying to refocus its body, but it's losing blood. So the kaiju goes to slam the building under the rubble, But luckily, Deku was a uh, All Might appeared and then killed the kaiju by punching right through it, exploding its rib cage, making its top body just go upwards. Then the kaiju lays down with its guts and blood spilling out. Then All Might landing in the place, trying to find survivors, and then he finds Mitsuki, Izuku, and Bakugo. And he's happy that they're still alive. He smiles this big smile so to show that they are safe now. But Izuku really can't think of safety right now because, he just saw his mom die, which is not with a that had a healthy relationship with her. And so Deku, after being completely brain frozen, he doesn't talk for like uh, a year, and it's still taking them a long time to clean up Titan. Titan was so large, his organs and blood were just too large. It took them a long time to clean him up. So one one guy is cleaning up his head, well, his brain that for some reason cracked open and fell out. I was cutting it apart so it'd be easier to carry. He gets his head stabbed in that brain. Then a bug flies out, uh, then severing the guy's head, then throwing it to another guy, which breaks their skull, which kills that guy. So this bug just then flies away with everyone shooting at it, hoping it dies, but the thing was too fast. So, sadly for the humans, that bug got away. So that's going to be a huge problem in the future, isn't it? Isn't it now? Yeah, that's just great, isn't it? And then a bug immediately, uh, photo remembers that kid that he saw under the table. So then Deku flies to. Then the thing just, for some reason, knows where Izuku is. Then flies to the hospital. It's a very small bug, by the way. It just has a very long needle. It's very small, but very strong. It's not fly. It's like a mouse level. Parts are small, but that's still big. That's creepy. You wouldn't want that crawling into your mouth, would you? Foreshadowing. And then Zeku, comatose from crying out so much at one point. Also, this is a year from now, so Deku is 7 now. I'm aging up the characters. Who gives a frick? So then Deku, being in a comatose state, he already went to middle school. He's already passed everything. He's alright. The bug breaks through the window, kills the nurse next to Izuku, and actually, in a very slow manner, he stabs her in the lung, and then it puts poison in it. So basically, she has poison in her lungs, which then she starts coughing out smoke, and then her body looks like she's about to lose every type of. Then she just spits out. Uh, the green mist turned into green to red mist, and then she dies. If you're wondering how she died to liver failure because of the bug's poison. And how good is my Cabal right now? But Deku, not knowing anything's happening right now because he's sleeping. Actually in a coma. Well, actually he's sleeping. He's sleeping. It's just he cried so much his eyes started bleeding. Because he remembered his mom and, he really misses her. And he really wished he could see her again. Because through a flashback. Flashback. While the bug is eating the lady. To gain more power. Holy shoot, he actually got a W? No way. My guy actually got a W, that's so new. So after Deku talks to Bak, in the flashback we see Inko and Deku talking to a therapist because uh, in a bit during this flashback, which is like when Deku was like 4 or something. Uh, I saw she had like a heart problem because he kept drinking, but don't worry, even though he drank a lot, he was a good dad. He kept this kid from learning that he drank, but he still drank excessively, so he got a heart problem. But luckily, he was able to become comatose, and then he was able to get out of the alcohol poisoning. But during that time, he was very alone because he couldn't see his dad because his dad was in such pain. He probably would have had like a bigger heart attack than if Izuku wasn't there. So Izuku was having to believe that his dad could definitely live this, he could do it, but not fully believing he could do it. But luckily, Inko was always there to tell him that, yeah, he's gonna make it out alive. He will. He's a strong man, and that's why she married him. So Deku is really much now believing that his dad will live. And luckily, your boy Hasashi was able to get out of there alive. He stopped drinking permanently. If this is how it affected his son, he does not want to drink anymore. He loves his son. He would never let anything bad happen to him or make him sad. He loves him way too much for that to happen. Unlike other people I know, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, you don't get it. It's Ken and Asashi, sorry. Then Deku actually wakes up from his coma mid the bug eating on the lady. He tries to escape. Well, actually, he does escape. He starts running out of the building with the mosquito following him, killing every single nurse, doctor, and helper at the hospital to death. He even kills one with like a stab to the brain, and then the brain just explodes for no apparent reason. One gets slashed in the stomach, his guts show up, and then he dies. Yeah, this bug is no fucks. It really wants Izuku, but no one knows why. But Izuku, obviously determined not to die. He's in very good shape, by the way. Like, you wouldn't believe how in shape this guy is. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, okay. He guy is very unfit. Very fit. Like, think the swollest of fit you can see. He's very fit. So he's able to outrun the bug for a while, until the bug got too powerful, and then tackled Deku so hard he started flying into the sky. They turn around, and then the bug slams straight through the window of the exact same place, and then just um, so when Izuku is trying to get the bug off him, the bug just cuts his hands off, straight off. Izuku is screaming at this point because, oh my god, he's about to die. And then Izuku gets even scared because the bug starts uh, he stabs his antenna into his head. Well, not his his antennas into his brain, and then the bug starts bubbling in a really disgusting way. So I won't explicitly say it. But Deku is grossed out, obviously, and then when he starts twitching hard, the Izuku, the bug starts twitching even rapidly than the other one. So then Deku uh, passes out again with the bug. Uh, not, Deku not knowing what the bug's gonna do, but when he wakes up, there's green stuff all over him. Well, outside of Deku's POV, the bug exploded into green goop. So the bug is dead now, but Deku doesn't know what just happened, and his hands just regrowed. So then Deku knows this is not a normal occurrence. Then he Then he tries to sweep through his hair, but then a horn stops him. Then he realizes he has a helmet on, but then he realizes it's not a helmet, it's his head. Then he starts feeling his body around and then realizes he has scales all over him, like armor plates. But Deku doesn't know where the frick these came from. But the scary part is Deku's terrified, and so it's getting stressed, and then his body starts weirdly growing, and then Deku falls out of the building, with the police just arriving in time to see Deku fall out of the building. And then they see this giant, then this kaiju's. Okay. Then Deku slams into the ground, and dust starts appearing, and then there's a giant hand that appears from the smoke, reaching a police car, and then eating. Then they assume he eats it, but actually he's just grabbing it to get some ground, but he couldn't find ground. So he used the cop car for ground. Deku put his foot up and then stood up and then screamed, not in like a primal roar, but like an actual fear of what he's become. Like his claws are elongated, his feet are clawed into the ground, and his teeth are even larger than usual. Like they're very sharp. And he actually has tusk. Looks really cool. Actually, no, he doesn't have tusk. That's what people draw him having tusk, but actually he does not have tusk. He do not have tusk. My boy does not have tusk. He actually just has just big teeth, just not tusk. So then after Deku and just him realize what he just did, um, and then the cops shoot at him. Obviously, Izuku does not take that disrespect, so he just started running away. Skirted down the place, started running, until the Endeavor showed up, uh, which is which is the second best kaiju slayer, which he kindly refuses being called that. Kindly being a loose term. So Deku is absolutely scared. Endeavor was killing a kaiju at this point. It was a very small kaiju, but it was a really easy challenge. Then Endeavor turns around, sees the kaiju, and then smiles with like this just terrifying smile, knowing Zuko knowing he's about to get killed. So he just starts running, but Endeavor is catching up real quickly. But Deku, before getting burned alive, his feet start bleeding and then smoking, and then he also feels the smoke. But then his entire body turns green. His eyes vapor. Then his feet transform into like the biggest thighs you ever seen. They call them thunder thighs. Basically Mirio's thighs, but like bigger, of course. And then he starts running away, which then just completely outsped Endeavor. So Deku just runs just runs so far away. So far, in fact, that he actually goes into the forest. And then slowly detransformations. But then after he hits a mountain and then shrinks back to his child size. Not his teen size. And then, how about I say 5 years later, which Suzuki would be, what age? 22? My boy Zuko's now 22. He's now out of puberty and falls out of the mountain hole. So it's like tumbling down and then just completely and utterly dies. I'm kidding. He just falls down, breaks a couple limbs, but then they instantly regrow. Deku then having a brain blast over the years, learning that he was a kaiju and what kind of kaiju he was. He was an evolving kaiju, which, if danger struck, he was there to stop it. If he was able to adapt to the situation, no matter what happened. No matter what would happen, he could adapt to it. Well, except for the fact, like, if someone was killing him, he couldn't adapt to the fact uh, that he couldn't die to that person. He could still die to it. So basically, someone tried to kill him with a lot of force in a lot of different ways. Izuku couldn't adapt that quickly. But still, Izuku is an adapting kaiju. And that bug that, transferred into his brain exploded and then tried to fuse with Deku, but Deku's subconscious was so strong that the bug's, neural waves just got deflected. Completely and utterly deflected. No other way my mind could have been defeated. The bug got defeated, and then that's why it exploded. If, Izuku didn't deflect it, the bug would have just stayed alive and then slowly died. But, sadly that's not the case, so... Well, for the bug, not for Deku. Deku's happy. So, Deku, leaves, starts walking out of the forest, because he's, but then, before he enters the place, he sees that he's fully naked. Because, you don't just grow to 10 times size, and then your clothes stay on. So then Izuku then, turns his legs into his, kaiju form, but, in human form. Then he forces his body to open, to, for his, kaiju head to, uh, reform into a human head, like his original head. But then he, then grows his old hair back. But longer. Think more, I don't know, think, cooler, I guess. Think a kaiju, think just Izuku, but, with long hair. Find fan arc of Deku with long hair, and then you'll see what I mean. And then Deku, runs into the city, uh, opening the, kicking down the door, speeding in, grabbing, in the closed door, black pants, underwear, of course, speeds, towards, then he turns, speeds, doesn't know what he grabs, but he grabbed I guess an onigiri, I think? Like a demon type shirt. It looks like a demon. It's cool looking, not cool looking, but deep Oni mask, one of those. Yeah, that's what was on his shirt. No way the Terminator actually wins this one. Okay, I knew it. But Deku, after getting all those assembled, he puts them on quickly. But then he also, after speeding out, he grabs a hoodie. It's a hoodie with All Might on it. Yeah, that's not All Might merch. What you talking about? Then Deku puts it on while running. But then you realize, I have no shoes. So he runs to the nearest shoe shop, kicks the door down, but no one sees it so quickly. So Deku then runs into it, then grabs the thickest pair of boots. Well, then runs to the sock aisle and takes socks. And then he puts the socks on. Actually, he grabbed 2 pairs of socks, because, yeah, that's all he could carry. I am surprised you won. But, we'll take that. But, after Deku is, all cleaned up, you realize, I am starving. But he doesn't know what to do. So, he takes the hat off he had in the store, sits down, and then a cardboard just smacks his head. Then a marker rolls up to him. Izuku's just like, this is some plain freaking luck. So, it is. Izuku then, writing, hungry, uh, I guess he would just say, hungry, please, spare change. So, obviously, seeing this helpless teenager, a lot of people give him money. Because it's just the kindness out of their heart. Give to the fortunate. One guy even gives him a $20 bill, which Izuku is so pleased with. He gives it the guy who gave him the $20 bill the most warm smile I've ever seen. The guy is touched that he could help the guy, which in turn helped him get out of his funk that he was in that morning. So now that guy's day is brightened, and Izuku's is also brightened. But at the end of the day, during the night, he gathered up about $120. But that was like low numbers. To him, that's only $120. He could buy a food, but that's it. So he puts it into his pockets, obviously filled with joy that he even got a dollar. Even got a cent, actually. He's glad he got a penny. He's just saying. He wish the day was longer for him to check, to get more money out of out of the day. But he does know that he has to get a job somehow. Well, first he goes to a Korean shop, I guess. It's a pretty nice shop. It's pretty cozy too. They got Korean style barbecue, and then he got some of that, and then he just ate a warm meal for a day which he hasn't had in a while, because Mitsuki's uh it's only been for like Mitsuki, it's been like a day since her husband's died. So, and for Izuku, he hasn't had a hot meal in like, I don't know, 10 years? Actually, 12 years. He hasn't had a hot meal in how many years, bro? 18 years. He hasn't had a warm meal in 17 years. Actually, I think it was, yeah. He's old enough to be 17 years past his age. Yeah, he hasn't had a warm meal since 17 years. He is enjoying every last bite he gets. Bro is crying while eating this. Luckily, it's really late, so not a lot of people are in the store. But the people in there are like, oh, my cat wants to go outside. 1 second. I love my cat. I'm sorry. Okay, I can still continue it, but Deku knows he can just he can definitely pay for this. The limit was like, for him, it was like $26. Then he got some fortune cookies and then read his fortune. You will meet a person that you thought you'd never meet again. So you're taking. He hopes that actually happens. Then he eats and then he eats the fortune cookie. Then heads out after paying the bill. Then he leaves to I guess go back to the forest, because that's all he can do right now. So he just walks to the forest and then knows that he has to do something before he probably goes to sleep for the night. So he quickly cuts down a lot of logs, then trims them, and then makes a wood cabin. And even makes a fire in actually a chair. Deku took a wood class in middle school, so that's why he knows all this stuff. He didn't make windows though. He just made a dark room. So Izuku is just sitting there relaxing, then goes to sleep with food in his tummy. And then the next day, uh, then we time skip to about 1 year, a singular year. So Deku is 24. Right? Yeah, 24. He is now 24. He's now 24 and definitely excited for to see what the day is gonna bring to him. Now we start with Izuku grabbing police hat, police uniform, making a cup of coffee, and has a box of donuts. And it even has a writing that, here you go, chief. Yeah, Izuku's the chief of police in here. So now Izuku just takes his donut and coffee cup, puts it in the holster of his police car, and then when he drives off, we get a cool new view of his nice wooden suite. It's really sweet now. Like, it has concrete layering. Even, hey, he ain't gonna brag, but he has a nice bed. It's a queen size bed. Actually, not a queen size. It's it's actually what's a I'm gonna call it a jack size bed. You know, like Jack of Spades, or Jack of Queens, Jack of Spades. That one, yeah, Jack of Spades. It's basically a two-seater bed, but it's basically small enough to be used for one person. And while Deku is driving to his work, he sees a dog, smiles, waves. Everyone waves back because he's a he's a town person that everyone likes. Izuku was able to make a comfy home in this city until today. So Izuku, while driving down the street, hears a loud alarm, which instantly triggers flashbacks to his birthday. Yeah, his sixth birthday, where his mom, his father, and his godfather died. So he gets out of the vehicle looking for anyone who's still on this. Actually, he gets back into his vehicle after getting out of it. Well, actually, he looked around first and shot a flare into the sky, and then started driving. It was a green flare, by the way. Then he started driving around the city, seeing if anyone was late. And then there was this kid that wasn't in a house or with his family, and was actually crying super loudly. It was so loud that even Izuku could hear it in his bullet proof windshield. Suzaku knows there is a problem here. So when he drives towards the kid, when he starts driving towards the kid, something absolutely terrifying happens. Izuku, seeing a kaiju just sitting there. It's a, I guess I'd say it's a crab kaiju. And then Deku knowing, oh, so Deku even, he, he kicks his driver thing up, and then he self-destructs one of his clips, and then it's aimed straight for his car engine. So Deku opens the car door, jumps out, grabs the kid, rolls, actually, he rolls, armor plates himself, breaks through about two walls. Then after all that, Deku then breaks through another wall to run away from the kaiju as fast as possible. But sadly, he couldn't use his powers in public because some people still see him. And then he starts yelling to everyone to get inside because there's a kaiju near here. So everyone's just running inside quickly because everyone. But then they do say that they need to help you. Then come in, Izuku. You need to come in, or you're going to get killed. Deku says, "Well, after this kid is safe, then I'll go inside." Then everyone runs back inside because Izuku needs everyone to focus on their mission of getting inside. Then the kaiju runs the corner. Um, the crab kaiju runs the corner trying to kill Izuku for taking his free meal. This kaiju is real mad. This one's like a real aggressive. It's not as experienced as the as the as Titan. Well, they do dub it. I'll tell you what they dub it later. So then while Deku is bolting, and then when he sees no one's on the street, he then uses his kaiju powers. It does rip his uniform, but he knows he can just get a new one, so he doesn't care. So Izuku just starts running and running and running. But the kaiju is actually really fast. It's a quick crab. It's a quick crab. It's a really quick kaiju. But Izuku is still out maneuvering this kaiju, even running through an actually running through an alley, like arm plating himself, then growing his kaiju head again, and then like breaking through a couple walls to get away from the kaiju. But the kaiju don't care. He just freaking jumps over those buildings, slams in front of the one Deku was about to appear out of. But Izuku was already 2 steps ahead of this guy, and then just bolted through the second one he entered through. So Izuku was already straight through away from that kaiju. So Deku immediately trying to run away from this crab kaiju because he doesn't know what to do. Until the crab kaiju runs, finds him, actually catches up to him, and then punches Deku so hard his shirt comes off. So now he has like jorts. Then he goes flying with the kid in his arms still because the kid is perfectly fine. Then he starts breaking the concrete. Then Deku starts breathing heavily, puts the kid down. Well, the kaiju is overly mad at Izuku for, ruining his crab brain because his brain is now exposed. But Deku, refusing to use his kaiju form, he runs towards the kaiju with bloodlust. But the kaiju, knowing that this is just a mere human, in quotation marks, starts slashing at Deku, but Deku is already dodging straight through this guy. It's way too easy for him. So Izuku is do dodging all the crab's things, and then starts running around the kaiju. And then the kaiju is about to slash Deku in half, near his brain. But then the Deku punches the crab's arm straight off. It's a very sharp arm. Uses it to stab into its exposed brain, and then shoves it straight in. Then the crab kaiju is perfectly fine. He has like 20 brains. Actually, he has two. One is in his torso, which the crab immediately says, well, sadly, kid, I have 2 brains. One is located directly in my torso. So Izuku, taking that to mind, after getting stabbed and then thrown, and then starts bouncing across the floor. He has a hole in him, by the way. But then Izuku starts healing it. So after Izuku heals it, then he starts growing. After his jorts break, and then obviously he plates up his privates, and then turns it back into his old kaiju form. But actually, it's bigger now. Now that this dog-looking dog crab hybrid kaiju tries to is going to go kill Deku, Deku just grabs it by the head and then crushes his skull. But obviously, the crab grows another set of eyes, saying, "Mass, of course, I have 2 brains and 2 hearts." So Izuku, already knowing this, grabs the crab and then opens him straight up. Like he punches his hand straight through him, and then puts his other hand in there, and then breaks him in half. Then he grabs his 2 parts of his tail, and then clapping them both together, like in a very splashy blood pile. Green splashy blood pile, by the way. Then Izuku drops it, and then drops the pieces. Then before going back to the kid, he goes to a nearby house, grabbing some clothes and then shrinking back and then putting on the sweater. Okay, putting on a white jacket with a gray shirt under it, with a blue jeans, with no shoes. But the kid was just grasping onto his little knees. So Zuko runs towards the kid in in impatientness. The kid is obviously perfectly fine. He's just happy he's alive. Then Izuku but the kid is still crying from almost dying. So the kid obviously wants to go to his mom, his meme, but obviously Zuko doesn't know where his mom is. But lucky for the kid, Deku got a birthday present last year for his 24th birthday. So then he gave a All Might action figure to the little kid. The kid being all smiles, just complete and utter joy on this kid's face. Kid having Izuku still having back pain from getting stabbed, but he still smiles as well. Then Izuku picks him up, puts him on his shoulders, and then they run to the police station. Well, Izuku made it look fast. Well, obviously he just lightly jogged, but to the kid it felt like he was going as fast as lightning. And then Deku, after getting to the police station, saying he needs a new car and a new outfit. So Izuku puts on an outfit, puts back on his outfit, changing in the changing rooms, telling the kid he should probably get out of these bloody clothes. Because, all the blood that Izuku was splattering everywhere got onto his shirt. His nice white shirt. So Izuku told him we can go to the store and get him a new shirt. Of his choosing. So the kid goes, Izuku and him go to the store and get him a new shirt. It's a nice shirt too. It's very nice. It is a All Might style shirt. It's really cool looking too. Is the kid really likes it. So then they start driving around the neighborhood Deku found him in, and then a nice old lady uh, smiles, runs to the door, and sees her grandbaby. Yeah, it's his grandma. The kid being overjoyed to see his grandma again, opens the door slowly, walks out, and then hugs his grandma. Izuku says, that kid there, you probably should keep more eye on him, shouldn't you? The grandma says she will not let this guy out of her sight ever again. But Deku's saying, uh, good. Then he rolls up his window. Then he says goodbye. Good day, madam. And then he rolls up his window and then drives away. Then he goes home, opens the door, and then reclines into his chair. After not reclining into his chair, well, then he pops his back. He specifically has a chair that can pop his back. He has like multiple chairs. He has a chair room. So he gets into his popping chair, and he pops his back. Because he's done that. He's popped his back multiple times. But Zuki gets up, makes himself dinner. I would say he would make like a rice bowl and some spicy noodles with garnish. Then he claps his hand together, saying, "Thanks for this great meal." Eats up and then goes to bed. Lays down and then thinks how his friend Bakugo is doing. Then, in an academy for students that have quirks, only quirks, no like kids, even quirkless people don't. Some some of the most powerful quirk users don't even want to fight kaiju. Like yeah, like Kirishima doesn't even want to fight a kaiju. He doesn't want to fight a kaiju, but he'll do it because his grandma was taken by a kaiju. A kaiju took his grandma. Like in a sad way too, man. Man was like the grandma was with his her grandbaby. Kirishima was like 7 and on a dock, and then she bought him cotton candy. He was smiling the whole time too. He was so happy. And then a sea kaiju came out of nowhere, and then smacked his grandma with just blood trails smacking against his cotton candy, which started melting with his grandma's blood. And then he started crying, bro. Actually, he didn't even cry, bro. Bro was blank face. Bro could not think, but luckily, a hero named Crimson Riot, well, a kaiju slayer named Crimson Riot appears, cutting the fish's leg hand off and then killing the kaiju, splitting its head in half for how dare it kill a grandma. Then the uh, Crimson Riot says, "Are you okay, boy?" But Kirishima says, "No, he misses his grandma already." Then the Crimson Riot starts crying because he wasn't there on time. Like he cries hard, telling the kid, "Don't worry, he'll find him a home that'll keep him safe and always keep him safe." Kirishima then idolized this guy and just become just like him, always wanting to succeed in his goals. So Kirishima trained. I just explained Kirishima's backstory in like a couple seconds. Okay, now we go to Bakugo's. So Bakugo, after surviving the whole being a teenager, he was still friends with Deku. Like just because you lose, because they shared a common thing where they both lost their dads, and they were really good friends. But Bakugo really wanted to keep his friend close. But one tragic day after Izuku started crying, mind you, Bakugo was in the waiting room, and and in the slaughter, he was actually just in the waiting room waiting for the doctors to talk to him, and no one could, and Bakugo could not hear people dying. So, yeah, Bakugo could have saved everyone because he still had his quirk. He definitely could have killed that bug, but then he was too late. So Deku suffered for that. So the only reason Deku is the way he is because Bakugo wasn't there. But Bakugo doesn't know that. He just knows there was a giant green blood everywhere, and then he realizes that Izuku's definitely dead. There's no way he lived that. The giant green explosion. He definitely thinks Izuku died to that because there's blood on the walls and everything. But that's actually just the bloody hands he took from his feet, from his little hands. But of course, Deku, unfazed by that. You can turn it off. It's fine. Uh, unfazed by the whole. He's not unfazed, but he was. Deku was Baku was very sad to lose his best friend. He really liked him. They were homies. They were the bestest of friends. They ate dinner together. They were the best friends. They're the only two people that understood their pain. Because the other people in their class didn't know why they were so upset when a kaiju noise blared because they can just go hide. But for them, they couldn't hide. They were stuck in a closed area, and only Izuku and Bakugo know what happened that day. Well, besides Mitsuki, but like Mitsuki is like comatose. But she can because Baku and Izuku got jobs. Izuku was a store clerk and Baku was a I guess a teacher's help, and for some reason people just paid him to do that. Their staff was they were very understaffed. So Izuku after Bakugo after the day his friend Deku was missing, he trained like crazy to join the Kaiju Protective Force. He busted his bones just to get to that position to kill kaiju for the honor of his best friend. Okay, so after you know the I think it was the 5 year time skip. Yeah, the 5 year time skip when Deku and Bakugo turned 23. So they're both obviously happy. Bakugo was definitely happy on that occasion, but was also sad because he wished he could celebrate this with his friend. He never got over Deku's death. He misses him way too much. I got 5 minutes. I'm good. But Izuku but Bakugo after expressing his sadness because of his friend's gone. Then immediately after he took the entrance exam for kaiju slaying. Then after joining the kaiju slayers, because the kaiju slayers have like giant mechas that they destroy in specific points. So Bakugo aced that, got into the top place with everyone I just explained. With basically class 1A, but like here, power course 1, kaiju power course 1. Yeah, kaiju power course 1. That is who they were assigned to. Izuku, not knowing anything about this, but Bakugo then watches a video after a week of training. He's pretty strong too. He could take out a like what kai, the kaiju deck took out. He could easily take that out. So could Deku, of course, like he did. So Bakugo, after watching this video, sees this kaiju having traces of clothes on it, but like the clothes weren't bloody or like had broken bones, shatterments on it. They were just clothes that got ripped apart. So then Bakugo thinks, was that a human? But all the teachers know that. Okay, all we know, guys, is that there was a kaiju that saved this child, but we do not know where the kaiju went or when it went or something. They do not know what happened to this kaiju. They want to know where the kaiju went, but they don't really know where the kaiju went. So after they inform the students about this, Bakugo thinks, could it be a kaiju? Is it the kaiju Deku died to? Maybe, but he doesn't know for sure. But either the case, he will see what this kaiju is all about. Is he good or is he just extreme dominance against the creature? So Deku, after Bakugo watched the video, he thinks, I wonder how Izuku's doing. Then he smiles. Well, that's all I have for you today. That was what if Deku had was a kaiju. For now, see y'all later.